The trade city of Vanar was a place where alien races from across the spiral arm came to bargain, cheat, and survive. For a human like Elias Kale, a former soldier turned drifter, it was also a place to disappear. His boots were worn thin, his jacket patched a dozen times, and his stomach gnawed at him like a beast left unfed. Elias had one thing left in his pocket, wrapped in the crinkled silver foil of old earth, something he'd hoarded through months of hunger, a single chocolate bar, his last piece of home. He sat on the edge of a broken fountain, staring at it. He could almost hear his sister's voice from years ago. "Don't eat it all at once, Eli. Make it last." He'd made it last, far longer than any sane man would. But now, as the alien suns dipped lower and the crowd pressed in, he felt a weakness in his bones. Maybe it was time. That was when he noticed her. The girl sat across the square, hunched beside a pile of discarded scrap. She was alien, yes. Skin pale with a faint shimmer like starlight, eyes too large for her delicate face, dressed in rags that might once have been ceremonial robes. She hugged her knees, watching the passing crowd with quiet, unblinking hunger. No one gave her a glance. Elias sighed. He told himself to ignore her, to mind his own starving belly. But when he tore the wrapper and the rich scent of chocolate escaped, her gaze snapped to him. Those luminous eyes widened, not with greed, but with a longing so raw it twisted his chest. He cursed under his breath. "Here," he said, and crossed the fountain. He broke the bar in half, holding the piece out. "You look like you need it more than me." For a moment, she didn't move. Then her thin fingers reached out and touched his hand. Warm, fragile. She took the chocolate, stared at it as though she'd never seen such a thing before, and bit into it. The change was instant. Her eyes fluttered closed, her lips curved in a smile, and a tiny sound, half laugh, half sob, escaped her throat. Elias found himself smiling too. "Guess you like it." She opened her eyes. "What is it?" Her voice was soft, musical, but halting, as though human words were new to her. "Chocolate," he said. "From Earth." Her gaze locked onto him. "You gave me your last." He shrugged. Seemed like the right thing. The girl tilted her head, studying him. Then, to his surprise, she whispered, "You are kind, human, and you have no idea what you've done." Part 2, the unveiling. That night, Elias thought he'd never see her again. He curled up in an abandoned cargo shed, wrapping his jacket tight and trying not to think about his empty stomach. But at dawn, he woke to the sound of voices. Outside, merchants shouted. Guards barked orders. And above it all, a ripple of awe moved through the crowd. Elias peeked out. A procession was moving through the square. Soldiers in black armor cleared the way, their banners marked with the silver sigil of the Nereans, the ruling house of half this quadrant. And in their midst walked her, no longer ragged, no longer hunched. She was dressed now in flowing garments of white and gold, her skin glowing with bioluminescence, a crown of crystalline light hovering above her brow. She wasn't a beggar girl. She was royalty. The crowd knelt as she passed. Elias just stood there, dumbfounded, until her gaze flicked toward him. For the briefest second, her lips curved, the same small smile she made when she tasted chocolate. Then she looked away, regal and distant. A soldier noticed Elias staring. "On your knees, outworlder." Elias dropped down, heart hammering. What in all the stars have I gotten into? Part 3, the summons. He thought that was the end. But 2 nights later, as he tried to sleep on the cold floor of his shed, armored figures appeared in the doorway. "You, come." He considered running, but their weapons hummed with lethal promise. He went. They escorted him through marble halls lit with floating orbs until they reached a chamber so vast it made him dizzy. There, upon a throne of living crystal, sat the girl. No, Princess Syrah of the Nerean dynasty. The guards shoved him forward. Elias dropped to one knee, trying to remember scraps of protocol from his soldier days. Syrah leaned forward. "Rise, human." He did, though his legs shook. Her eyes glittered. "Do you know what you did, sharing that piece of chocolate?" He swallowed. "I gave food to someone who looked hungry." At that, Laughter rippled through the guards. But Syrah raised her hand, silencing them. To you, it was a small act. To me, she stood, the crown shimmering brighter. I was in disguise, testing the city's people. None spared me a glance. None offered kindness. Until you. Elias blinked. So, you were pretending to be poor? Yes, to see whether compassion still lived among the lesser races. She descended the steps until she stood before him, close enough that he could see the faint pulse of light in her skin. And you, Elias Kale, gave me the rarest thing of all. Not fear, not flattery, but kindness freely given. He opened his mouth, closed it again. I didn't know. Exactly, she said softly. That is why it matters. Part 4, the dangerous gift. From that moment, his life changed. Syrah decreed he was to be her guest. No, her honored companion. Elias was given quarters finer than any palace he'd ever seen, meals rich enough to make him ill after months of hunger. Servants bowed to him. Guards saluted. He hated it, not because of the comfort, though he never felt he belonged, but because he realized something dangerous. His single act of kindness had placed him in the center of Nerean politics. Courtiers whispered, rivals glared. They wanted to know why a human drifter had the princess's ear. And Syrah herself? She was kind, yes, and curious about him. She asked him endless questions about Earth, about chocolate, about human wars and dreams. But there was something deeper in her eyes, something that frightened him. Because to the Nereans, kindness was sacred, a gift beyond measure. To share one's last food with another was an oath, a bond. You don't understand, whispered Captain Varel, one of her guards, when Elias pressed him for answers. By their law, you bound yourself to her. She is yours, and you are hers. Until death. Elias nearly choked. What? I didn't agree to that. Varel's eyes were grim. You already did. Human. With chocolate. Part 5. The Test of Fire. Word spread quickly. Rival houses plotted to use Elias, to kill him, to claim to bond themselves. Some whispered that Syrah had chosen poorly, that a human was unworthy. The crisis came sooner than he expected. During a ceremony in the Grand Plaza, assassins struck. Disguised as dancers, they hurled plasma blades toward the princess. Elias didn't think, he just moved. His soldier instincts roared back, and he threw himself between her and the blades. Pain seared through his side as energy burned flesh. But he stayed standing, shielding her until guards cut the assassins down. When it was over, Elias collapsed, coughing smoke. Syrah knelt beside him, her glowing hands pressing to his wound. Why? She whispered, tears bright in her eyes. He managed to grin through the pain. Guess I'm not good at keeping what's mine. Even chocolate. She laughed, a sound like bells, and the glow from her palm sank into him, knitting flesh, sealing the wound. He realized then that her power was far greater than any healer's. And as she leaned close, whispering so only he could hear, he felt the weight of the future crash upon him. You shared your last with me, she said. Now I share my crown with you.